Hey everybody, welcome back to another Deck Profile Friday. And this one, we're actually going to take a little bit of a break from the current Sword and Shield on format. As you know, on this past Sunday, they just finished up the Salt Lake City Regional, which was absolutely awesome. And obviously, if you had watched it, you would know that Hisuian Gudra Arceus V-Star defeated Arceus V-Star with Flying Pikachu in the finals as well. In the top 8, there was a Giratina V-Star, 4 Regigigas, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 4th as well. And then lastly, it was a Palkia and Talion rounding out the top 8, and which is awesome. But there's a lot of knowledge on that out right now, and I wanted to do something a little bit different and cover a deck from a format that's not really talked about a whole lot, which is Prop 15-3. Right, and that is actually, I'm really loving the format. It's pretty slow, meaning you can play stuff that typically wouldn't get played. But we are actually going to revisit an archetype that I actually had posted at the start of when I started my YouTube channel, and for that format, it was actually base to gym, but so kind of the same sets, but different format. Like there was absolutely no limits that on any card that you could use. Obviously with the 4, right? That being the limit. So I guess that's the one limit, but it didn't have any restrictions on the amount of trainers that you could have in your deck, and this is just the condensed version of it, and excited to show this off. So we are going to show Rain Dance. Rain Dance has been a favorite archetype of mine for a long time. Obviously with base set Blastoise, they had the Energy Rain Blastoise EX, right, back in Fire Red Leaf Green. So that was like the 2005, 2006 format. And then they had, I believe it was the Deluge Blastoise from, I think it was Black and White Boundaries Crossed. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was reprinted as well later on, and later set in Black and White. About Rain Dance, and that energy attaching from the hand has been around for a long time, and this is one of my favorite archetypes. So to start, we have 3 Blastoise, right, 3 Wartortle, and 3 Squirtle, and then we have 3 Dark Gyarados, 3 Magikarp, and then lastly 3 Articuno and 2 Lapras. So the limit with this format is that you can only play a max of 3 of any Pokemon. You can only have a max of 15 trainers total in your deck. And I'm excited to show this off. So Squirtle there, 40 HP. 1 retreat, no resistance, weakness to lightning, which is standard for a Squirtle at this time. Bubble for 10 with a coin flip for paralysis. And then withdraw. Once again, you flip a coin. If heads, prevent all damage done to Squirtle during your opponent's next turn. So a decent stall card there. Wartortle, right? 70 HP. The same withdraw effect for the same energy. For a water and 2 colors, it does 40 damage with bite. And then once again, the same retreat cost, weakness, and resistance as Squirtle. Blastoise, the big guy, I actually really love that they reprinted this in Celebrations. 100 HP, same weakness and resistance, but instead of retreat cost of 3, which is unfortunate. Rain Dance allows you to attach a water energy card to one of your water Pokemon as often as you like. And then Hydro Pump there for 3 waters it does 40. And then it does an additional 10 damage for each water energy attached to it. But you can't, do it more than twice. So it can only do a max of 60. And that will have 5 energy on it. Pretty cool. Lapras there. So one of the big basics, 80 HP, which is good for a basic. Weakness to lightning, resistance to nothing. So once again, standard. Retreat cost of 2, since it is kind of a bulky Pokemon. Water gun for 10 for a water. And you can do an additional 10 damage for each water energy attached to it, but you can't add more than 20 damage in this way. So it'll do 3 for 30. And then its second attack there for 2 waters. It does 10 damage. Confuse Ray. Flip a coin if heads. The defending Pokemon is now confused. So neat little stall tactic there. It's great around getting things getting around things like Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime from Jungle with that invisible wall ability that prevents them from damaging it from attacks that do 30 or more damage. So really, really good. And then Articuno, the main beat stick of the deck, right? This is what we definitely want to attach to. It's 70 HP, which is good for a basic. 2 retreat, once again, is standard because it's a fairly bulky Pokemon. Resistance to fighting, which is really good against things like Hitmonchan, the different, Brock's Pokemon like Sandslash, right? And maybe a few other, fighting types like Giovanni stuff, or if somebody plays like Machamp, like base Machamp, with the Machops and stuff in there, right? It's really good. No weakness, which is actually really good as well. 3 energy for Freeze Dry, 30. And then Flip a coin if heads are paralyzed. And then 4 energy, which is for Blizzard, which does 50. And then Flip a coin if heads. This attack does 10 damage to each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. And if tails, it does 10 to yours. Pretty good. Then we have the Gyarados line. So Magikarp here. 30 HP. Weakness to lightning. Resistance to nothing. Retreat cost of 1. So pretty much the same as Squirtle. 2 attacks. Flop for a colorless. Does 10. Which is okay. And then Rapid Evolution for 3 waters. Search your deck for a card that evolves from a Magikarp, so Gyarados or Dark Gyarados, and then put it on to Magikarp. So that's really good because you can go right into Dark Gyarados, which is one of our other attackers. 70 HP, retreat cost of 2, resistance to fighting, so that's really good for the reasons I mentioned earlier. Weakness to grass. So good weakness to have, as grass is not really played a whole lot. The one that comes to mind is Venusaur, right? The Venusaur Pokemon Center deck. So that's really good. And then an amazing ability in Final Beam. Whenever Dark Gyarados is knocked out by damage from an attack, flip a coin if heads. Flip a coin if heads. And this is for, I believe, each water energy attached to it. And do 20 damage to your opponent's Pokemon. Right? The Pokemon that knocked it out. So it's really good. Yeah, it's because it requires 3 energies. So if you have 3 coin flips, 3 successful coin flips, it'll do 60 potential 60, right? And then Ice Beam there for 3 waters, it does 30. Flip coin if heads, it's paralyzed. So we have a lot of options to paralyze with this deck. And that is the Pokemon. So not too many. A few options you could add, maybe add in like a Dodrio line if you wanted to give yourself free retreat, which is pretty cool. But not really. Maybe a Dark Blastoise if you wanted, right, to have that option to go into that. Maybe a Gyarados, like the base Gyarados or base set 2 Gyarados, right? I don't know. You just have to try some stuff out. And then trainers, so we can only have a max of 15 trainers in the deck. And probably the best one, if not this is definitely in my top 2, Pokemon Trader. And then we have Professor Oak. We have Super Energy Removal. Computer Search. Double Super Potion. Gust of Wind, and then a Gym and Narrow Gym. So Pokemon Trader is the Pokemon communication of the old days. Pretty much does that. Professor Oak is the, Professor's Research of the old days. Discard your hand, draw 7 cards. Super Energy Removal. Such a good card. Discard 1 energy attached to one of your Pokemon to discard 2 energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon. Really good. Computer Search. Discard 2 cards from your hand in order to use this. Search your deck for any card and put it into your hand. So really, really good. Super Potion's a neat little heal card. Discard an energy to heal 4 damage counters. Gust of Wind to switch your opponent's bench. Their active Pokemon with one of their bench, whichever one you want. And then Narrow Gym is pretty much the original collapsed stadium. They can only have a max of 4 in play, so and then when you play it, they got to discard first, and then you discard if you need to. And that is it for the trainers, right? There's no supporters in this format because this is old and this is before supporters. So really cool. And then lastly, you're probably wondering what energy we have in the deck. Well, we have water energies. That's 15, 20, 25. 25 water energy, and yes, you'll actually go through them all. Not even joking about that, just due to the high energy requirements, right, of Blastoise, of Gyarados, and Articuno, right? You will use them in between those attacks and retreating and discarding with super energy removal. You will use all these, so yeah, you could put in, if you wanted, if special conditions are kind of a thing, you could put in full heal energy. You could maybe put in a potion energy or 2, right? But other than that, there isn't really anything that you can put in except basics. Double colorless energy does nothing for this deck, right? Because everything has at least, 2 waters, right? Except for the Wartortle, obviously, and the Squirtle. But like all the main attackers just require water energy, so that's what we play. And that is it, everybody, for the deck profile. So let me know what you think on this. This is for the Prop 15-3 format, and it's actually a fairly cheap format to get into if you wanted to. So yeah, it's Blastoise, and it's really pretty much Blastoise and Dark Gyarados. That's pretty much what it is. So Articuno and Lapras just supplement these two, but yeah, 2 awesome Pokemon in the Kanto region, the first gen. And yeah, what an awesome deck profile. In terms of matchups, really comes down to what cards you draw, right? This can definitely win against pretty much everything, right? One thing I would be a little bit concerned about is obviously electric types, being Electabuzz and Rocket Zapdos, which are both kind of played in this format, right? Wigglytuff, is a pretty could be a pretty tough matchup, right? As they can almost one-hit KO pretty much everything, right? It's a little bit of a stretch to do Lapras and a definite stretch to do Blastoise, but Gyarados, right? Gyarados and Articuno are, they're only 10 damage away from knocking him out, because they'll deal 60 with I believe do the wave. I believe it's 10 plus. Correct me if I'm wrong. If it's 30 plus, then it's actually really easy. But yeah, they can definitely do a lot of damage. So what else? Mewtwo. I don't know if they can set up fast, right? They got that energy absorption attack and get the energies back, right? And if they can Gust of Wind your Squirtles, right? They can Cyburn for that perfect 40 damage on it to knock it out. Otherwise, they pretty much two-hit KO everything that you have, except for obviously the Blastoise. Not really too sure what else. I think those are the big ones. The spread decks. So I think there's the Brock's Golbat and the Gengar. That one can kind of be tough, right? The Golbat can hit for weakness on the Gyarados, right? And so what they'll do is they'll try and time all their knockouts perfectly, right? It's not going to be just like a 1-to-1 prize trade. They're going to try and knock out multiple things at the same time, right? So they will probably come from behind. And then they obviously have like the stall cards like Lickitung and obviously Kangaskhan and Mr. Mime, right? So there's those options. I don't know, you just have to play it and just tech accordingly. So all right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you like what you're hearing and seeing, leave a like on the video and subscribe, as I'm always trying to create good videos for y'all to enjoy and to actually learn to learn something from, right? Sundays we do live openings. Wednesdays we do some gameplay on Pokemon TCG Online. Some of the time what I may do is actually do in-person gameplay. I get some of that recorded and then post it. And then on Fridays, which is today, which is Deck Profile Fridays. So that's where I cover a deck from the Pokemon TCG. It could be current format, which is Sword and Shield on, to any older format, like base only, or in this case, Prop 15.3. So, all right. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and see you in the next video.